The Observer would write in mid-June, the Undertaker has been bothered even more by an arthritic hip and his back cramping. And we know that eventually he's going to get that hip replaced. And we watched all about that last year on the WWE Network. But you got to feel for the guy. I mean, here he is arguably at the hottest point in his career, making the most money of his career, and his body's breaking down on him. Was there ever any serious consideration to him saying, man, maybe I should hang it up and transition? I realize that sounds funny because he made it another 20 fucking years or something. But before Brett left the company, he was saying, oh yeah, Undertaker's telling me he's only got a year or two left, because he was already hurting in 97 in a major way. Was it even talked about, or was the money so good there's no way he's leaving?
Look, man, I think everybody talks about, man, I got one more year in me and then we're going to hang it up.
Yeah.
And then you get to that year, man, that was the best year of my career. Maybe I could do that over again. And then you keep going. There was always talk of that. And especially with Taker, you know, Taker had a lot of wear and tear, man, had a lot of nagging injuries that would continually creep up on him. And as you said, shit, I can go back so many years of Taker, like this has got one more left in me.
Yeah.
And you talk about a stud, Taker's a stud.
Talk to me a little bit about, and I know this is random to bring up and ask, but I've heard Flair in interviews say, as my physical skills diminished, I had to up the comedy. So that's when he would do stuff like, oh, pull my trunks down. And then, you know, we're going to do the whole pushing the referee spot, and I'll sell the big bump, and I'll fall face first, you know, do the old Flair flop. He really tried to up the comedy when he felt like, man, I can't physically do maybe what I once could. And I'm curious, since he's not wrestling in the Rumble and he is banged up and he's hurting, it feels like we're overloading the gimmicks. We're in Inferno matches. We're sacrificing people. We're setting shit on fire. Is this a way to still make the most of the character, but limit the damage on the body at the time?
Well, it's definitely a way to give the body a rest.
Yes.
And after years of just, you know, incredible, just wear and tear on the body. Yeah. It's a way to give him a bit of a rest and allow him to regroup and recoup and let those muscles and those bones just kind of get back to life a little bit.
So talk to me a little bit about the magic. You've often talked about Richie Posner and the magic department in the WWE. Is he the guy who's helping you with some of this over the top, fantastic stuff, you know, setting the symbol on fire and all that?
Yeah, you know, Richie was heavily involved in a lot of that stuff and being able to produce and conceive a lot of that shit. So, very talented guy.
So he's having fun with all the magic stuff, and I'm sure this is really pushing him outside of the box. Eventually, though, you do something that is even a little far-fetched for WWE. We're doing an angle where he, being the Undertaker, supposedly, outside
pronouns, pal.
Pronouns. He's supposedly outside of Vince's house trying to kidnap Stephanie, but of course he's actually at Raw because he's magical and stuff. Do you remember producing these? Were you the guy producing these skits or segments? Or are you back in Houston by this point?
No, it's probably, if it was at Raw, it was at TV.
Well, I just assume, Undertaker is at TV. So I guess what I'm asking is, A, was it really Vince's house where Undertaker's outside trying to kidnap Stephanie? B, were you the guy on location doing the shoot? Or was it just an old pre-tape that you did earlier in the week?
Do you think that looked like a house Vince would live in?
If I'm honest, I don't remember, but I was sort of surprised when we watched SummerSlam 89 a few years ago, back before you moved and left us all behind, to see Stephanie jumping in a pool. And you were like, oh yeah, that's Vince's pool. That's where me and Pat used to book TV with Vince. I would have never guessed that's Vince's house. I wouldn't have guessed those old vignettes of Mr. Perfect playing pool, also Vince's house. So I don't know. And by the way, I assume
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous for the $1 Million Man.
I assume Vince McMahon owns more than one house. So I don't know. That's my question. This is an on-site, on location. Hey, here's what we're doing Raw. Let's go find a house we can shoot shit at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wherever the hell we were. I think it was a house locally there the night before. I didn't do it. No, I did not. I did not do it. I watched it. It would have been much better if I had done it.
I was going to say, it feels like it has your fingerprints all over it. You love Taker, and we're going to kidnap a chick. You're into that.
Would you stop giving away all my secrets?
What?
It was just a run of about 6 months. It didn't,
She lived. It worked.
Back.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about King of the Ring. He's in there with another stud, The Rock, but they're not in the main event, which kind of feels weird since it's for the title. As a reminder, Undertaker's the champ. Rock is challenging, but they don't go on last. In fact, X-Pac and Road Dogg go on after them, and Austin versus the McMahons in a ladder match goes on last. I understand the need to have a quote unquote let me up match between them, but the Austin McMahon thing has been so hot for so long, it kind of has to go last regardless of who has the title, right?
Yeah, it depends on the story. And again, I take, it's the right word I'm looking for. I won't say I want to take exception, but the main event going on last, it's all interpretation. And again, I think that we've changed that. And even then was a way to change it. When you look back at the old Madison Square Garden shows back in the 70s, for fuck's sake, the main event went on before intermission.
Right.
So you can sell tickets. So it's just trying to put together the best show and the best presentation.
Well, here's the match that night. Again, Undertaker and Rock go on 8th. They have 19 minutes and 10 seconds. Undertaker's going to get the win and retain the championship. It's written here. Triple H ran in and gave The Rock a pedigree and sort of put Taker on top. Ref came to and Rock kicked out. However, Taker then used the tombstone for the pin, 1.5 stars. It's worth mentioning, there's not a ref bump in this match. There's not 2. There's not 3 ref bumps. There's not 4 ref bumps. There's not 5 ref bumps. There are 6 ref bumps in this match. Lots of smoke and mirrors here. Was the Undertaker just that beat where he needed lots of, I think Pat used to call it gaga?
Why you gotta steal my shit?
Well, you just say it.
You need the gaga and the bases of the referee and the pig and the fucking on the ass, and then another one come in and oh, 30 days. Repeat that 3 fucking times.
And then how do they lay there? They lay there like what?
Like a douchebag. Hey,